Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another BTNeanderthal video. Today we're going to be covering Chaos Sanctuary. Why is it good? Why do we farm it? Well, today we're going to find out. How do we farm it? What's the way you should farm it? That's also what we're going to find out. So, we start off here going River of Flame in Act 4. That's how you get here. You go to top right. On the way, there are, monsters here, but we'll get around that in a second. So there's multiple ways to farm this Chaos Sanctuary. We have, and it also will change depending on the gear that you are wearing. But the concept is, basically, you go into Chaos Sanctuary, and it's like a cross shape. We have a wing in the right side, a wing in the top side, and a wing in the left side. And these all have, each wing has a seal boss. After you pop each one of the seals, or the seals for that corresponding boss, he will spawn in, and you must kill all the seal bosses and have all the seals popped. There's 5 seals and 3 seal bosses. You must kill all of them in order for Diablo to spawn in. After all that is done, all the monsters will disappear, and then Diablo will spawn in. So that is basically just Chaos Sanctuary in general, and that's what we have here, right? Now, there are actually multiple farming methods here. Like, a lot of farming methods. So we're going to talk about, I guess maybe why we farm Chaos Sanctuary first. I'd say, generally speaking, if we're going to pick one area for this game to get everything from, the Chaos Sanctuary is the place. Why? Because it has good runes, it has good bosses, it's an 85 area, so the elites that spawn there, and I'll get more detailed about this in a few minutes, the elites that spawn there, the random ones, can drop any item in the entire game. So that's great. That's great news. You also have especially easy mobs in some scenarios. It also adds some extra spice and some flavors with like the challenge of different auras and curses that can be in there and that you will be receiving. So on top of that, with being able to drop pretty much every item in the game, it has a boss who is Diablo. He can't drop every item in the game, but he can drop a lot of awesome things, such as, Arachnid's Mesh, War Travelers, Shaco, Mara's Kaleidoscope. We don't have it on us right now, but like stuff like that, Mage Fist, a lot of those things he can drop. Like most of the stuff I'm wearing, not all of it, like excluding the rune words and crafted stuff, but you can drop all that stuff, and pretty much everybody in there has an opportunity to do that as well. So if you just rush him, that is one strategy. And I'll just go through each one of these strategies and what we're gonna do. So we're just gonna talk about rushing Diablo. That's all we're gonna do. It's like we don't care about anything else. Typically, you want to be able to do high damage or high enough damage. It does depend on the player count that you're doing, but like you also want kind of high MF, enough damage to be able to clear things quickly. And this is pretty much pristine for a Hammerden. And then you have decent amounts of MF and you just wreck them. Another thing that's important about Chaos Sanctuary is this spot, this location that I'm standing in right now with pre-hammers. Well, Diablo kind of messed it up because he moved. But if Diablo stands still, which he normally does, you have the pre-hammer spot, which is right here. Through the full rotation, he he'll get double hit right now, right? So like the full rotation, he'll spawn in and you telly stomp him and it'll be hitting him 2 times at once. Another spot is like you could do like here for closer range. You can just kind of fill and hang out with the or figure out the orientation at which your hammers travel and try to hit them more and more. So that's important for like different player counts as well. Now, this is more of a general Chaos Sanctuary guide as well, not just a hammered in thing. So I want to just say like, you can make a TP, like there's some mechanics here. You can make a TP here and sometimes like, or next to Diablo, and he will make a bone prison around that sometimes and waste his like casting frames. That is an option instead of like attacking you. So say you're like a weaker character, you want him to not attack you as much. That is something you can abuse a little bit more. Leeching, you know, you can hide behind these. You can also drag him and like attack him kind of through the wall a little bit. Like all these corners you can abuse because it'll shoot like Firestorm and you'll be able to hit him and stuff. But, you know, there's like little things we'll cover. But I want to talk about the main farming strategies here. And we're going to talk about solo players 1. Okay. Solo players 1. Let's do this first. So like I said, you can farm Diablo, you can just rush Diablo. That's one strategy. Another strategy is you just throw in a ton of magic finds. Like, and then just only kill the elites. And also another thing that's great about this is like River of Flame is a 85 area as well. So while you're teleporting in Chaos Sanctuary, if you have like high MF, you can just kill the elites on the way there. Right, you just go in and kill them. So you're just kind of like elite hunting, right? Anything that looks like an off color or is like an elite or like minions, it says minion, or if it's a champion, you can go kill them. The reason why we fight those guys is because they will drop something. That is the advantage to that on players 1. Because with players 1, the drops are reduced. However, if we farm elites, then that's better. So this is one strategy. You just kind of kill all the champions and all the elites. You don't really care too much about the minions because that is affected by the player count. But the main bosses are not. And this is actually the exact farming strategy that I used, with the exception of like seal pop and stuff, and I'll talk about that in a second, in my 100 chaos run. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out as well. But because this is players 1, we can actually just pre-hammer here, and like look at how fast Diablo gets deleted. And then we got unique stuff here. Great. Awesome. So that's one strategy. And that's like the players 1 magic find. So there is also the strategy which we killed Diablo, right? That was the first one we cover. We just seal pop, immediately go there. Another one that's combined with this is well, I call it seal pop, but this is actually seal popping, which is you go over here and you abuse the mechanics of the game. So you kill all the elites. I'm not worried about any of the other guys yet. Right, I just want to kill the seal bosses and I want to kill the seals. Or take out the seals, click the seals. Right, and I leave one seal open, or closed right here, right? Everything's dead, I leave one seal, I teleport back to the entrance. Now you need a relatively fast character to be able to do this, so like things like a Javazon might not work as well. But what this does is when you hit that seal, it pops like everything that was recently active in the game and drops it. Right? So all these monsters were recently active and they dropped items. I didn't kill these guys, but they were recently active. So they actually drop items. So that is an advantage you can do. You have about 8 seconds with that strategy, and that's called the seal pop strategy, commonly known. And then that can be very helpful on like higher player counts, but it doesn't mean you don't that you can't do it on lower player counts as well. So that's the strategy. It's just better on higher player counts as well. And then you fight Diablo afterwards and you're good to go. So that's seal popping. There is also is there anything else players 1 that I want to like talk about? So yes, actually there's another one. There's something called like grailing, right? Which is You know, you can check that on the max roll. But grailing is, you know, you're trying to find every item in the game. Now, with that being said, Desace, like all the seal bosses, Desace, Vizier, Infector, and Diablo, all very specifically them, cannot drop every item in the game. So say, for example, you don't have Tyrell's Might, and you still need that, you don't want to be wasting your time killing them. If you're in a single player environment, and you have a lot of gear already, you actually only want to farm all the elites that are not them. So it'll look something like this. You have a lot of MF, right? And you just kill all these guys. Very similar to the high MF runs, except you take out Diablo and you take out Infector. Or all the sealed bosses, I should say. So you're just kind of looking for them, and it's like, alright, is there stuff here? Cool, we're killing them. Keep pushing, keep killing them. And this is really good for like grailing. And it's like, okay, do I see anything else? We teleport around. I don't see anything else. Nothing says minion. We save and exit. Okay. That's another strategy we can use. And that one is great for grailing. If you're going to be grailing on players 1. If you're on players 8, you can technically get the items that are needed for the grail from the seal minions. So like there's the seal boss. Their minions can drop items. But it's just rare. You're not playing with like a guaranteed thing. Now you're playing with like RNG again. So that's something to note. We talked about grailing. Now, another thing we talked about Diablo farming. There's also full clearing. Right? Another thing that you'll see that's pretty common, it's kind of combined with like low-level experiencing or low-level experience and like you know, people leeching and stuff. I could talk about leechers as well, but generally speaking, you just make a TP here, you kind of clear out the area, and you have your friends come in. You know, they could be low level, say they just got grushed or rushed. You can check that out on Maxroll. We have a rushing guide if you're interested in learning about rushing. But you just kind of clear everything as you go. And something that's usually best for this is like high damage, because you'll usually have leechers. And high player counts, because you're no longer just farming the elites. You're farming like everything. And this is good. 1, for experience. 2, to help your friends out. 3, it's a nice change of pace. And then on top of that, like, it's actually not a bad way to like farm for runes, farm for like, you know, bases. Literally the perfect timing for this to drop. Let's see if it actually even rolled well. We got a Monarch. It even rolled 4-socket Monarch. So you can get things like bases, and that just happened. Bam. Easy game. So yeah, you can just full clear everything and just keep pushing, right? So that's another strategy. And if you go left or right, it doesn't really matter, honestly, a whole lot. There's also, I guess, a couple things or mechanics I could show you about the Chaos Sanctuary. Is that each one of these wings has 2 different orientations. One of them will always spawn the seal boss, for example. This one will always spawn the seal boss. The one that's, when we're in the L shape, it'll be like this. It'll always be this one. This one doesn't do anything, it's just one of the triggers. We're gonna go back to like explaining more things. You guys can understand what a full clear is. So, this one always spawns the Sace. Sometimes it'll be over here, sometimes it'll be over here, like basically this tile, but just reversed. Let's get the Sace real quick. And you can tell if the Sace is still alive by the Fanaticism aura. Sometimes there'll be an extra pack with Fanaticism aura, but that's not as common, right? The Sace always spawns with that. Infector always spawns with Spectral hit. And Vizier, I think, is fire enchanted, or I think, or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, fire enchanted. But anyways, like I said, there's 2 on each side. This one that kind of looks like a T-ish is always here. This is for Infector, and this one does nothing. Now Diablo's there, and Diablo's dead. So I will show you actually another thing, and this is for the noobs, the people that are leeching. Another way to run Chaos Sanctuary. I probably should have done it on a cleared out one. I'll do it on a clear Sanctuary so I can just show you. So I guess I'll show you another strategy. Late game, it's pretty much Diablo farming. So remember that first strategy I showed you with Diablo farming? If you are like 97 or something, one thing you can do is you can have like say you're working together in a team. You make a TP there, and like you all have a coordinated like seal that you go to and like fight those monsters, right? And you just immediately, as fast as you can, like this is for super high level, like 97 or plus. You take a seal, you each kill a boss, and then you meet up and share the Diablo experience up to like, you know, three players or whatever. Right? That's another thing. Trying to think if there's some other, there's like other ideas here that we have. I think it's just leeching. We can get over, we can talk about leech experience, see if Diablo dropped us anything. Nope. So, if I'm a leecher, I'm going to be someone who's level 1, for example, and, you know, just needs to get some experience. They just got rushed. I want to remain as far as I can and away from danger, okay? I want to be behind people. I want to be within 2 screens, so I'm still gaining experience. But, like, I want to make sure I'm out of danger. If there's experience shrines, basically be in a range where you could never be cursed. Right? So if this was an experience shrine, I want to always be out of range. And you're relying on your teammates to clear everything for you, right? You're level 1 or whatever, so it's like, stay away. So whatever path that they choose, whatever the clearest path is, you just kind of stay behind. You kind of like, you know, hide behind pillars while they're there. And you kind of slowly be careful with everything that you do. You know, this area, you know, just kind of be careful. You can chill up here. It's a very common place as well, just as far as like routes go. Chilling up here is fine as well. Over here, you know, just like I said, stay behind the pillars, stay within 2 screens-ish, and stay out of danger. You never want to be in range where you can be cursed. And you can kind of just hug this like center area of the map and just like hide behind things as you go, because you definitely don't want to miss out on the seal boss experience, because that's a very good experience. And then after you like kind of leached all that stuff and you kept your distance, sometimes you have to run around. There'll be a straggler here and there. Like you can run up here and just hide behind one of these, so that way like if and when Diablo uses his Fire Nova attack that goes in all directions, you'll be safe from it and you'll still be in range to get experience from Diablo. So that is how you leech. Pretty much one more strategy I think that I could talk about. This one is very niche, but this is for players 8. Well, I guess it's not niche. I guess it could tie into all players 8 XP farming. Like, say the levels of like 92 to like 96. It's a very efficient strategy. And that is, say I was on players 8 with like a big damage build. Then I want to kill the elites and their minions, right? Because they're a good experience. We'll kill elites and their minions. Like say at a players 8 game, say you're following Bale runs, but you're actually doing Chaos runs while they're doing Bales. You just kind of kill everything that says minion, all the minions, all the champions. You're not just farming for loot, now you're farming for XP, and that's a very good strategy for XP farming for yourself if you have enough damage on your build to be able to clear that out. And you just kind of search with your mouse or your cursor or however you do it on controller or whatever, and kill your elites. Check for minions. Check for stats, auras on the ground that might not be there unless it requires a minion, you know, or an elite pack. So it's kind of like a fast version of full clearing, but at the same time you're only hitting the targets that actually matter and the ones that actually give a decent amount of experience. One more strategy, I guess, that's kind of tied to this. If you are in single player, you can actually Vizier is actually a relatively weak character. For example, Blizzard, he's weak to Blizzard on a sorceress. Say you have a kind of a weak-ish sorceress, or you want to level up a sorceress pretty fast in single player, you can just constantly farm Vizier over and over again, pretty much, or any Stormcaster that you come across. So like each monster type, they all have their own characteristics and resistances that, you know, you'll have to get used to when you're playing the game. But for example, one of them is just like, hey, say I'm a Blizzard Sorc, I'm looking for Stormcasters pretty much only, and I'm like not strong enough to really take out the, you know, like Venom Lords and stuff. So I'm just like, okay, we hit up the seal, we teleport around, and we just cast Blizzard on these guys, and we save and exit, go again. That's usually a single player strategy for experience, but that is, it's good. So it works. But I think that pretty much like sums up everything. Both like players 1, magic finding, grailing, leeching. We talked about seal pop and how that works. Late game experience, Diablo's level like 94, so he's a good experience late game. But Chaos Sanctuary, in my opinion, is the best place in the game. Also, my favorite character is the Hammerden, so like, you know, Chaos Sanctuary is fantastic. I love this place. It's so good. And you do extra damage to like all the monsters in there because of your hammers just doing extra damage to like demons and undead. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to like it and subscribe if you want more content. Let me know what else you might want to see me cover, and if you like these types of videos where I kind of like break down an area and how to farm it and stuff, then like I'll definitely do more of that in the future. So thank you guys for watching. You're all beasts.